let's explore another scenario you might be faced with when designing and prototyping. So there's a couple of things in here I wanted to do. One of them is show you how you can control how your prototype is going to be presented. So if we move on to the prototype tab, you're going to notice that there is this advanced settings when it comes to prototypes. Click on that button and it's going to allow you to either present your design and prototype in a specific device, or you can set it to a custom size. I do like to use custom size when I'm working with websites because it allows me to kind of set the height that I'm going to use across all of my designs without actually having to create frames that are going to be that height. So what you can see in here is I've purposely made this screen and the screen that you want to navigate to in the end bigger, to show you that you can have things that can be scrollable and other things that can stay sticky. So you can see in here in the design, to create things that are going to be sticky like the top bars or bottom bars, you just have to have a layer or a frame or whatever you have on the left side and select this option, fix position when scrolling. That's going to create these fixed and scrolls options in your main frame. And that means that everything that's fixed is going to stay above all of the other layers. So scrolls are the layers that are going to appear below. If you ever have a problem in Figma and you don't know why you can't make something appear above something else, it means that one of the layers probably has fixed positioning while all of the other ones have scrolls. You want to ensure that you're using fixed positioning only when you need it, because that's going to be the top level or the top levels if you have multiple of them. So fixed position when scrolling means that this layer, because it's positioned to the bottom, is always going to be appearing at the bottom of your prototype. This one is going to be positioned to the top and everything else is going to be scrollable. That's exactly what you want on something like a website where you have a navigation bar on top that always needs to be visible, and maybe something like a cookie banner on the bottom. When it comes to other things that I've prepared for this prototype, I actually wanted to show you how you can use overlays to your advantage. So if you click on this button, cookie settings will appear, and you're going to have some advanced cookie settings appear in the middle of the screen. So when you have that, there's two options. Someone might hit close, so this still needs to be visible, or they might accept all or just the selected ones, and when they do that, this entire thing is going to disappear. That's why we have this other state of the screen without it. But to ensure that that actually happens, again, let's move to the prototype tab and see what I did. So on the cookie settings button, you can see that I have on click, open overlay. That means that this new frame, this smaller one, is going to appear over this frame in our prototype. And I actually just have it centered. But I've also added a background behind this overlay. You can choose any kind of hacks and set the opacity for it. Again, if you want to play with animations, do so. And when you click this close, I just said on click, close overlay. While if you hit the actual buttons in here, I just made this whole frame clickable because it doesn't matter which button you're going to click. You're actually going to be navigated to a different frame. So a different page, it can be a different screen or whatever. Right now it's just a copy of the screen that doesn't have this below. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. Another thing that I did and I wanted to show you, again, you can explore all of these things inside of the file. You're going to get access to this. Is you might have elements that you want to continuously be able to have them do the same thing. And how you can fix those, like navigation bars that might appear on other pages as well. And you don't want to have to create the same prototype options hundreds of times. So to save up on time, what you can do is actually create a component and have prototyping options appear inside of that component, like I did in here. So you can see that my navigation bar is actually a component that when you go over learn, so you enter with your mouse over learn, it means that other options will appear. So something like a mega menu where some of the options appear, you can do with that. I didn't use while hovering in here because while hovering means that it's only gonna appear if I'm hovering over the learn text. And I actually want, as soon as I get over the learn text, to be able to move my mouse and go into other options. So what I did in here is, as soon as I enter with my mouse, I have open overlay. It's gonna open the overlay, and I want this overlay to disappear as soon as I click anywhere else. And I actually, instead of centered, made the position of the overlay manually. So instead of centered, I switched to manual. That allows me to move this wherever I want to, and I actually want this to appear a little bit below this, or maybe above this, something like this, to signal that I can now control these 4 options that we have in here. So we have entire component prototyped. That means that in all of the places and all of the screens when you're going to use this navigation, you don't have to recreate these steps for learn. You can do something else for RStore. You can say that RStore is always going to navigate to a particular element. So like this, maybe RStore is going to navigate us in here. Again, it's not, but in a real life example and project, you may have all of those pages. So you want RStore to always navigate to a particular screen. You just do it through a component because that's going to be the easiest way, and just use the component in all of those places. When it comes to learn, as soon as I enter with my mouse, so kind of I'm hovering, but not just hovering, I'm also allowed to move from that place and control an overlay like this. So we open up the overlay, it's gonna close when clicking outside, and inside of that I can do whatever is needed, because it's not gonna disappear as soon as I move my mouse outside of this learn area, because you can see it's really small. And another thing that I did in here, besides this overlay, you can see that this overlay is just an auto layout with 4 of these other components. What you can do with Figma is that you can create states with components too. So I have this state that's not hovered, and this state that showcases how this element looks like when hovered. So I just did it like this. You have both of them there, and the actual prototyping option appears inside of the component. While hovering, change to, and you're changing it to this other frame. And you can see that the animation is really quick because you don't want to have like fading out and fading in effects too much. So you just have that, change to, and it's going to change from this one to this one when your mouse is inside, basically when you're hovering over an element. And then since all of these are the same component, I just changed the photos and the text in them. I don't have to redo the things over and over again. So if I ever decide to add another one, I just duplicate this, and it's going to have the same animation inside if I'm hovering. So to demo all of those things, I'm going to actually play you the prototype that I have made and that I've just walked you through. So you can see in here, everything's working. If I go over learn with my mouse, you can see now I can move my mouse around and everything stays in place. I can go in here, I can hover over these items, and they're all changing. Perfect, just as I wanted. If I click outside, it disappears. If I go to the cookie settings, it's going to open up the overlay in the center of the screen like this, and there is also a background in here. If I hit close, I just go back, it disappears, it kind of fades out. If I hit it back in and click any of these buttons like this, the bar disappeared. I can still scroll because my navigation on top is fixed. You can see. And also you just notice that as soon as I go over learn, I have all of these options again. And I didn't have to create like 20 different variations of the screens to make it possible. I just use components and a couple of frames to make all of that work. So the same thing appears in here and also on this screen, because both of them are this component. Everything that happens inside of this is just animated with these two options. And you can easily play around with overlay options to ensure that you can go back and accept things as needed. And also, I'm not sure if I've shown you. Again, if you're in prototyping mode, you can always go back to the first screen by pressing the arrows. In here, you can also see that this banner is sticking to the bottom, this one is sticking to the top, and we did it through fixed positioning. So yeah, like this, go outside, cookie settings, accept, I can still scroll, I can go inside, and I can change through any of these. And just a demo, you can go inside, create a duplicate of this. I'm now inside my prototype and you can see that I don't have to do anything. It just works as it's supposed to because I actually use components to build this. So yeah, hopefully this was helpful. You now understand the power of prototyping when using components, and also some other tips that are more specific to maybe web, with all of these overlays and how things are going to work and how you can have things that are fixed and not. And all of those things can help you be a better and more efficient Figma prototyper and designer.